Welcome to All Things Food. This is a channel where we not only love to cook, but we cook to love. And I tell you, today I'm really loving to cook. I couldn't get outside on my grill, and I had this beautiful slab of ribs I wanted to cook. Wasn't disappointed though, because I had another method I wanted to use today, and that was cooking these ribs in the oven. And these turned out so beautiful, so delicious. Look at that, how they're so nice and meaty, nice and tender and juicy. And I'm going to show you how to do this today in your oven, and you may not ever want to cook a rib on the grill again after you try these today. I have these beautiful St. Louis style ribs, and they're absolutely gorgeous. That's a big hunk of meat. And the first thing we want to do is clean it up a little bit. I'm going to turn it over and just take your good sharp knife and trim it off. You don't have to be too aggressive with it. And then you can see right here we have what's called the tips of the rib. And we're going to cut those off. A lot of people will throw those away, but we're not going to do that. I have this good heavy knife, and I'm going to just cut right down and square these up a little bit. Little flap right there. We're going to cut that off and throw it over there with our rib tips. See this membrane here? We don't want that on our ribs, so we're going to cut that off. I get a little bit of that skin up so I can get a hold of it. Then I'll take a towel or a paper towel. Sometimes it'll come off in one piece if you're lucky. And we want to put first thing we want to do is put a binder on it. And the traditional binder that most people use for barbecue ribs is a mustard, which transfers no flavor to the rib. But we're going to do a little different today. We're going to use a little bit of liquid smoke. Now, liquid smoke is really a kind of a natural product. It's water and hickory smoke in a bottle. We don't want to go real heavy with this, just a little bit. And notice I'm doing the bone side first because I want the other side to look nice and pretty. Take a little bit of our mustard. Get it all the way down on the sides there. So we're going to do two seasonings today. This is called an all-purpose rub. It's AP. It's just salt, pepper, garlic. You could make your own equal portions of each. We should do it. Granulated garlic, salt, and pepper. And we're going to come over here with Malcolm Reed's Killer Hogs Barbecue Rub. Again, that's one of my favorites, all-time favorites right there. I don't run out of that either. So we're going to do Malcolm's Rub. Pat that in real good. So we're going to repeat the process over here. Now, what is best if you can take this and put it in the refrigerator for 4 or 5 hours or even overnight. And folks, we are good to go. That's ready to go into the oven. I'm going to put that on a baking rack in the oven, 250 degrees, and we're going to put it in there for about 2.5 hours, and then we're going to come back to the second process of our cooking. So let's go ahead and stick this in the oven. Here's a bonus tip for you. I discovered this a few weeks ago when I was cooking ribs on my grill. If you'll take your ribs and scrunch them up a little bit, it's kind of like that, just kind of push it in like an accordion. When you cut into them, you're going to have a lot more meat on the bone. It's amazing what this little trick will do for just the overall quality of your product. We're going to go ahead. I heard the alarm go off here. We're ready to stick these in the oven. 2.5 hours, we'll come back and check them out. So I pulled these ribs out of the oven, and actually they were in there about 2 hours. I was looking for an internal temperature of about 165. I had it on 250. Right at 2 hours, I checked it, and they look good. Look at the bark on that. Those look like I just literally pulled them off the grill. Those are absolutely beautiful ribs right there. I'm going to set them aside right over here. And we're going to take a little bit of brown sugar, put it right in the bottom of this, come on top of it, and we're going to take some butter. There's a sauce that I like, and I don't know if you can find this. It's called Tiger sauce, the original Tiger sauce. And we're going to put a little bit of that on top of this just for some zing. If you don't have this, you don't have to use it. You might want to put a little bit of hot sauce, your favorite hot sauce. But this has not only heat, it's a little sweet, and I really like that sauce. So we still have our liquid smoke or liquid aminos, and we're going to put just a little bit on there. And honey is always a good thing. A little bit of that on there. And the next step is we're going to add a little bit of apple juice. That's going to help these things steam a little bit, tenderize them. And what I did the other day, I was doing some ribs outside. I actually didn't have any apple juice available, so I used ginger ale. And ginger ale was absolutely fabulous on this. So if you need a substitute for apple juice, use Sprite, ginger ale, whatever floats your boat there. Now we're going to take these ribs, these beautiful ribs. See how they're still firm so that we haven't overcooked those. See how they just kind of bounce back? And we're going to put the meat side down right on top of this. Fold this side closest to us over. And we'll take that side and fold it over this way. Be careful not to break foil through the bones. Then we're going to take this here, fold it over that way and that way. Now I do not recommend that you take this foil and just crumple it up and get it all in the ball, because if we need to check these ribs, we don't want to have to try to undo that foil. So we put it back in here. Now we're going to stick this back in the 250-degree oven. Let's go ahead about an hour and check on these. I'm looking for a temperature close to 202, 3 degrees, somewhere right up in there. So we'll pull those out. Remember, we have them wrapped in the foil. And if you have an aversion to foil, and I meant to do this, we could have put parchment paper in there. Open those up. Notice how they steam there. They're already pulling away from the bone. So we're going to stick this probe in here. 201. Now those look fabulous. Those look like they were cooked on the grill almost. We're going to take the barbecue sauce, and I'm kind of lazy today. I didn't really want to make barbecue sauce, so this is my fallback John Biak and Christy Biak's Sweet Christies. Glazed these real good. And we're going to stick these back in the oven and let that sauce kind of caramelize and set up for a few minutes, probably about 15 minutes. And we're going to come back and we're going to have some real good ribs. Okay, out of the oven, by my calculation, it's been about 5 hours, and those are our oven-baked ribs. Look at the nice bark on it, the good color, the good caramelization, and those things smell absolutely good. And I guarantee if you looked at these, you could not tell the difference between ribs on the grill and ribs in the oven by just looking at these ribs. And you may try this recipe, I hope you do, and let me know how it turned out. But you may never want to cook ribs on the grill again after cooking them in the oven. Thanks for watching today, and be sure to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. It's free if you haven't already. Like this video today, tell all your friends, and I'll see you next week on All Things Food.